Hello everyone, Which Boy Columbus here. I'm doing a video response to a question that was posed to the Pagan Perspective collab channel, Pagan Leadership and / clergy. Cars is the video that I mostly am replying to, but I have watched 4 of the hosts' videos about this topic, and I agree with most of them. So I wanted to state my point and kind of talk about some of the things that Cara brought up. So in her video, she had talked about pagan leaders, and I agree with one of the hosts, or two of the hosts, that would be a really hard thing to do because of how big the pagan umbrella is. Someone's always going to feel left out, or like they're not being represented. So I believe that would be hard. That would be a hard thing. I do kind of agree with Rich, where a panel would seem like a better idea because you would have a representative from different parts, but there's still so many that it would be really hard unless you can generalize it down, work together to generalize it down so that you have a strict policy, and by then you're starting to get into organized religion and stuff like that. Another thing that Cara had brought up is people having titles, like, and what hit it home for me is because she brought up the ordained thing. Now, you can't ordain to be a priest. I agree. You have to work your way up. That's based on the Catholic religion, which I don't follow, so that doesn't mean anything to me. But I understand her reasoning is that, you know, they work their way up, and so a pagan leader should work their way up. But who's deciding who worked what way up? You know what I mean? I got ordained online, and I'll explain why in just a second. But I'm a pagan, and now I'm technically clergy, even though I didn't work my way up in a clergy church. This is an all-denomination church, kind of like a UU, but it's just called Universal Life. They represent everything. Here's all the religious symbols here. I don't know if someone has represented themselves, oh, I'm pagan clergy now because of this. So technically, no, it's not. But they have a lot of pagan resources on their website, more so than they do other main religions, about how to perform ceremonies and stuff. The reason I got ordained was because the federal Supreme Court, like the nationwide one, is set to soon rule on marriage equality. Now, I live in Ohio, where that is still illegal, or not recognized, but 37 states have passed with marriage equality laws, or the ban on the marriage equality was lifted, or same-sex marriages. So I'm assuming that in the near future they will rule for it, and we will be able to have same-sex marriages across our country in the United States. But at the same time that's been happening is in certain states, clerk of courts and clerks and clergy and stuff like that are refusing to marry people. And some states, they've even said, okay, the courts aren't going to marry people. We're going to pass a new rule that says we're just not performing marriages anymore. So I wanted to be prepared, and so that here in Ohio, I could be that person. Whether it be a very generic kind of ceremony, because I'm comfortable with leading a Christian one, but I could lead a very generic one, or middle-of-the-road pagan, or full-blown pagan. And even though that I haven't worked my way up any ladders per se, I've been studying for 10 years. Different degrees and different amounts, you know what I mean? I go gung-ho for a while and then I kind of back off, but it's still been over the course of almost 10 years now. So, you know, who sets that standard? This is not, doesn't make me per se pagan clergy, but it does make me clergy that's pagan. You know what I mean? And this, I could, if I wanted to, set up my own ministry and start my own church. I could do so. I could even call it pagan if I wanted to. they have materials on their website that they offer up. As long as I am not doing anything bad and remain in good standing with them, they will back me. So, I mean, how do you really think anyone else starts their churches and stuff? Same way. They're nobodies that people respect, you know, sometimes blindly, but that's how other people get started. I really don't think that, I mean, it'd be really hard to regulate who you deem is worthy. You know what I mean? Anybody, even with working all the way up. Let's say there's a high priestess who's been a high priestess and been in this coven for 25 years, and she's worked her way up. Do I think she's worthy of becoming a leader of... No, let me tell you why. Because what's the difference between her and me? Let's say we both use the label Wiccan, and I'm a solitary eclectic Wiccan, and she's a coven-based Wiccan. We don't see eye to eye on things. So am I going to be comfortable with her being my leader? Maybe in like very generic forms, but probably not. As far as like people like not being, you can't be a priest to be ordained. Well, I don't follow Catholic religion, so it has no bearing on me, but I understand where you're going with this. Now, just because someone works up all these levels and has a piece of paper or has the certain amount of time or whatever behind them, most of the time it's about money. You pay the money, you get a piece of paper, then you can use that piece of paper. Regardless of it's 10 years, 5 minutes, 20 years, you know what I mean? I don't think it really matters. It depends on that person. Is that person worthy? Are they, I think leadership is kind of an elected thing, kind of, you know, people are comfortable. They want you, they trust you. They want you to lead them or represent them. So we have this priest that works up and works all these levels and then uses all of his knowledge on how to talk to people, to manipulate people and sexually abuse little boys or children. That's the same thing as, what about political leaders? Like this senator, I believe she's in California. I just saw it on news today. She's trying to push through 2 laws that would make it okay to discriminate against someone on the job, an employee, fire them for being gay, and being able to discriminate based on religious points of view or whatever they're using as their shield today, but being able to tell someone, no, you won't wait on them, or you deny them service in your business if you think they're gay. They're trying to push that stuff through. And this is someone that's supposedly a leader. Or the Dr. Lilokin had just posted a video on the evils of witchcraft and Wicca, and there's this doctor that's a doctor of philosophy, but he's saying that we're evil people and has no time for us. And he's a leader to those people. You know what I mean? So I don't really think it matters. Like, there's the doctors that have been practicing for a long time. There are surgeons that have been practicing for a long time, went through all that school, you know, med school and all that, and then are sewing up hemostats in somebody and killing them, if not just causing an error. So I think that that ground is really shaky when we start talking about what deems a leader. For me, like I said, a leader is someone that's kind of like appointed or elected or what have you. Someone that people have trust in. Yes, having knowledge behind you and not only knowledge, but, you know, worked your way through kind of thing. I can't find the word right now. Experience that really helps as a tool, but who sets that guideline? You know what I mean? To me, life instances are even better than school. Sheldon Slinkard had posted a video about this topic on his channel, and I had made a video response to that. So I'm probably restating some of that video. If you'd like to see that, check it out on my channel. There's a response to him, and he also, I think, links to his video. But I kind of think that a good leader would kind of be a little bit of everything. You know what I mean? Know that, okay, well, I don't know a lot about Native American shamanism, for instance. I'm just making that up, but I'm being nominated to be a leader. Wouldn't I bring someone in that is maybe really, really book smart about that whole aspect, and maybe an actual shaman, and confer with them and use their knowledge as a tool to make decisions for the greater good? That kind of thing. I don't think someone has to be full-time, like dove into a spirituality to be a leader. I just think that they have to have the respect of people, and people respect their opinion. You know what I mean? If that is based on a piece of paper, then those people are kind of, that's when you get in the shaky ground. You can't believe anything anyone says, hardly. So, I would compare like-mindedness with it. Do I feel that they would have my best interest? Do they seem like they know what they're talking about? You know what I mean? Who is going to deem them worthy? You know what I mean? As far as a pagan leader. I agree that this is probably not the same thing as being a high priestess that's been in the position, worked their way up and got that degree. But I didn't get it for that reason. This just means that I'm entitled to perform ceremonies. Weddings, baptisms, funerals, fill in the blank. Legally. I can legally do that. But I don't think that for some reason, because I have this now, that makes me an authority or a pagan leader. And I would hope that no one would just assume that I am that. But at the same time, I feel like I am a leader. I'm knowledgeable. I am knowledgeable on my path anyway. I know what I've studied and how long I've studied. And I'm always continuing to learn, like any good person, everyone is still doing, is learning. So that being said, if someone is like-minded enough and they feel that I have their interests and would nominate me or follow my belief system, follow my tradition, then I would be a leader. But there are people, like I said, that have worked their way up, been in a coven for a really long time, been a high priestess, and then you hear them speak publicly, and you were like, oh my God, I want to shoot myself. I can't believe this person is coming across like a total idiot. So if you guys please check out their videos, I'm going to put the links to Kara's video and the Pagan Perspective collab channel's main channel. That way you guys can check out their videos on their answers to this question. I don't know if I answered all of the question, but I felt that I should answer some of it. So until next time, you guys, thank you for watching, and blessed be.